Hi everybody! Happy Book Club Thursday! Hope you're doing well. I'm very excited to talk about today's book. I feel like we've all been kind of building up to it. So hello, get cozy, have a drink, have a snack, because we're going to have some chat this evening. Put on your comfiest clothes, I already am. And yeah, book, yes! Hello everybody, hello to Ducky who was very first and loudly taunting Bree, but Bree couldn't hear. Hello to Bree and Sam and Frito. Hello, everybody. All jammied up. I love to hear it. I'm jammied up too. I have some wine between us. I have some adult juice. That's gross. I didn't say that. Never mind. Anyway, hi everybody. So we're gonna do this book club a little bit differently. Usually we have had questions set up. We do like a round table kind of thing. Just for the sake of open discussion, we're just going to kind of do like an open chat kind of thing. I'll start us off with a little bit of a spiel, and then we'll just go around. So the book we're reading this month is The Ritual by Adam Nevill. It was our pick for paranormal. We got a second chance on paranormal and read an actual paranormal book this time. And I can't wait to talk about it. So yeah, I hope you like this open discussion. As always, we're going to pick our next book at the end of the session. However, we're doing it a little differently just because we're interested in doing a kind of author comparison, and also because it fits into next month's genre, which is thriller. We're going to do another Adam Nevill book. And so next month you can kind of expect a bit of a comparison between the two books, which I think will be quite interesting. Now, without further ado, we're just going to go on ahead and get into our room here. I've set everybody up just so. You can see Frito and June are kind of snuggling. Ducky's at the table with the snacks. Sam gets the bed all to themselves, and they're going to roll around in it. Good times. Let's open up the chat. Hi, everybody!
Hi!
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going
So great.
So great. Good.
Oh, good.
I hope you're all comfy in your seats. Sam, you get the bed all to yourself, so enjoy that.
Yeah.
Um,
Just like in real life.
yeah.
I feel dangerous.
Well, maybe we can go around and just say hello, and then we can get started with our chats. So as everyone knows, I'm Shammy Bun. If this is your first time here, I know we've had some new people trying to read this book along with us. I'm typically a cozy bunny girl streamer, although this month I've been playing some spooky games. This book kind of fits in with the theme of that. Interestingly enough, that wasn't on purpose. It was all randomized. And I also do The Sims, and I do Stardew Valley. I almost forgot what it was called for a second. And I'm starting Faith very soon, which I'm excited for. It's my next spooky game. Yeah. And then we do our book club every month. That's me. I guess we'll just go in yapping order. We'll go clockwise. So, Ducky, you next. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Secret Ducky. I like to yap.
Very nice.
And you can blame me for this book. Yes.
And also
Enjoy.
the spooky games.
We will.
partially.
The spooky games. Next month being another book by Adam Nevill. You can just blame it all on me.
It's
Just blame
almost like
everything
you're
on me.
also a moderator for my channel.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
global warming, just blame it all on me. Fucking anything you want. I got it. I'll just carry it.
There you go, everybody. Ducky will carry your burdens. Thank you, Ducky. How nice of you. June, you next.
First off, is my fake friend Shadow Ackerman in the audience right now? How dare you? Fucking
I know.
Try to
How
call me
dare
out
him.
and say
Shadow Ackerman
Oh,
underscore.
she fell asleep. I did not fall asleep, okay? I was having a discussion with my partner, which you would never understand. Anyway,
Damn. Very good,
It's
June.
anyway, enjoy your
getting heavy in
content
here.
warning, I guess. Hi, my name is QB June. You may call me QB. You may call me June. I'm a yapper. I'm a queen bee who likes to yap and also play video games. Most people like just the beginning part and not the end part, but that's okay. The latter's for me. The former's for them.
There you go. People streamer.
But yeah, I also don't know how to read, so I listen to the audiobooks.
There's allegations in chat that you're a wiener dog. Would you like to discuss this? Is this true?
I've always heard this.
Wiener dog. It's the truth.
It's true.
It's true.
I've heard it myself.
First off,
too.
Shammy, the host, asked what I thought, not what the peanut gallery had to think. Okay. Number
The Wiener
two.
Gallery.
There's the fucking traitor.
Oh,
Hey,
Shadow,
bitch.
you just got the call out of your life and you missed it all. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, don't
Sup.
stop us. How dare you? Happy to be here. You won't in just a second. You won't be happy to be here. Anyway, I'm not a wiener dog. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, June. Thank you.
Lies.
Happy birthday. And
news.
Frito, you next.
Hi, I'm Brito.
Hi, Frito.
I unfortunately play a lot of Fortnite that some people like to make fun of me for, but that's okay.
Ooh, name
At least
names.
I'm not a wiener dog like somebody in this chat.
Ooh.
First off, I'm not a wiener dog. And number two, you forgot about the 12 hours of Final Fantasy. You forgot to admit that
Oh
you're
my
doing.
gosh!
That's true. You wanna
So
talk
much,
about
and guys, let me just say, I am still stuck in mother effing 50 level fucking MSQ.
Just go
I'm
faster, obviously.
still in it.
I told her I was like, you know, if you're this frustrated, you can just skip all the cutscenes. I can tell you what happens.
No.
And then she's
Honestly?
like, no.
Honestly, at least it's much better than it used to be. It used to be even longer.
Yeah, it used to be
Goodness.
longer. Congratulations,
really
you're
bad.
going through the Cliff Notes version.
Shadow says I did that. I gave up.
Too many 50 quests. I'm still struggling. But anyways, that's me in a nutshell. You know, follow along for shenanigans because
There you go.
I'm not a yapper.
Shout the
I'll be quiet.
Out.
She's not a yapper.
Yeah, I feel like
I am
that's
not.
not true, Frito.
Yeah, that's as true as somebody
False.
telling me that I'm a wiener dog.
I mean, that is the truth, June. I'm sorry, but you're a wiener dog. It's
I hate
okay.
that, the wiener
Wiener dogs
dog.
are cute. So
You don't have your voice clip to save you now, June. You don't have it here.
Oh, don't you worry. I can
Power
bust it
here.
out right now.
Anyway, Sam, would you like to go next?
You're always.
That's what I think. That's what I
Heroe-y.
think. Brie literally just
Hello.
DM'd me a gif of wiener dogs running through the field. I am so upset. I can't believe this.
Through a field.
It's terrible. He literally just DM'd me. He DM'd me.
Wow.
He didn't even. That was personal. It was personal.
The mod harassing another mod in private. I can't believe this.
Can you
I can't believe this.
get your mod? Your other mod? Can your mod?
Oh, yes, I am a mod. Are you a wiener dog? Yes.
Sam, go ahead. Go ahead and introduce
Mod
yourself.
on mod violence. And
Hey, Sam. I
And very cool.
am having a bit of a brain fart.
And nice and fun. We love you,
I'm
Sam.
tired. I'm tired. But I am the unofficial mascot of many channels. I am me. I am here to exist and be a happy bean. So,
You're official for me. Just saying.
thank you. That means a lot to me.
Shammy's mascot TM.
Hey, y'all.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Allegations aside, various allegations aside, let's go ahead and kick off the discussion. As I mentioned in my little preamble, we're going to do more of like an open chat kind of thing. Now, with this style, just to avoid everybody talking over one another, yes, June, I saw you do a thing. Just to avoid everybody talking over one another, we're just going to do a
did?
little like...
What?
Oh, maybe
Alright.
I just saw it then because I just clicked in chat. Anyway, maybe it's delayed. I don't know. We're just gonna do like a hand raise emoji in like the VC chat thing, and that way when someone wants to go next, we'll just make sure nobody gets talked over. I know it doesn't happen on purpose, but like when we get excited or whatever, somebody might want to talk for someone else. So just to keep it like reset all hand jobs after this point. Okay, thanks, Ducky. I read that out loud. I read it all out loud.
Which
So-
we're just
Secret
joking.
joke for us.
well, everyone's in on it now. So.
Now everyone's in on that joke.
I mean emojis. So,
Nice hand job.
we had another idea, which I think is a good one, that we would just we would give our rating right off the bat, and then after we chat about it, we'll give another rating because sometimes they can evolve as we chat, right? So I'll just start right off the bat by saying I want to give this overall, I think a 7 out of 10. It was higher before I read the second part, like many of you guys had said.
Dude.
Now, did I dislike the second part? Not necessarily. But I will say that the change from the first part is pretty jarring. Like the change in like mood and the writing even is like very jarring. It does feel like two books like smushed together. Bizarrely. At first I liked the writing style, but then again, when we go into that second part, as the book went on for longer, I kind of saw some flaws, as in Juna brought this up previously, but a lot of like repeating, I believe it was June, a lot of repeating of ideas, repeatings of concepts, that kind of got a bit much after a while. Now, saying all of that, I do think that Nevill really excels at creating a mood of dread and discomfort. Like in the beginning there, when they're in the woods, there really is this feeling of like, they're never going to get out of this. And I kept reading because I wanted to see if they would get out of this or how they would get out of this. If you would have told me that second part happens, I wouldn't have been able to guess that. And it's funny because we were watching the movie. We'll also be bringing up the movie. We did watch it last weekend, so we'll be bringing this up in our chats as well. But it's funny because at first I didn't love how the movie ended, but looking back, it makes a lot more sense to me. It's more of a cohesive story. And I kind of wish the book would have just stayed on that path rather than this whole bizarre metal stuff going on, and that whole thing that was interesting. And also all the suffering Luke goes through. one of the reviews I had read described it as suffering porn. And I was like, yeah, that kind of sounds right, because it just seems like at this point it's just being dragged out. Like, I don't mind a chonky book, but after a bit, it was starting to feel like too much.
It definitely felt like two books.
Yes.
Or two little, like, stories in one. Like, it felt like it could have ended at one point. Granted, you know, it didn't... It wasn't... Either part wasn't, like, bad, but it certainly felt like it could have ended at the one part, you know, kind of hopeful and stuff. That would have been a good ending point. You know, the extra stuff.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I thought that Luke was going to die. And I almost feel like I would have liked that ending better. That sounds fucked up, but I don't know. I feel like... Okay, let me ask you guys this. Okay. To me, the ending is very ambiguous. He's just walking on the path, right? He's just escaping. And the section was kind of describing as like, well, this is just how life is. Or you realize inconsequential things don't mean so much, and that's it. And then it just kind of ends. And I'm like, so did he die or did he get help?
Weak ending.
Yeah, what? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Go ahead.
I feel like what they should have done was they should have cut out about 40% of the first part of the book and put that towards the end and seen whether or not he lived or died.
Yeah, so you would have sacrificed like some of the walking around the woods and whatnot.
I'm sorry, but the beginning of that book, I'm sorry, I struggled so much. I believe it was like the first 40% of that book. I was like, what is going on here? What are they doing?
That's
You're
so
in the woods.
funny.
You're lost.
That's so funny.
What are we doing?
'Cause it's like the complete opposite from like I only liked the first 40%, pretty much.
I was done with it.
If it had ended like at the end of the second part, at the end of the first part, I would have thought that was a great ending. Literally exactly as it was and just end.
Yeah,
I would have been happy.
I would definitely agree with that. Like, it felt like it would have been
then it's like, does he die or not? Doesn't matter, right? Like, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, no. I totally agree. Honestly, I felt like when I saw that, it's like, there's still like 200 pages.
I know, right? How?
I don't know.
I fucking hated the ending. I hated it. I thought it was so bad. I thought it was a weird concept, and I'm like, are you literally kidding me that, like, what he wrote is a bunch of teenager metalheads are trying to summon a demon? What the fuck? Like, I got so mad. And then it was just, like, wild and, like, I don't know, man. Some of the stuff that was in there too. I was like, man, I fucking hate this.
The monologues between Loki and Fenrir, I thought that was so annoying and probably my least favorite part of the book. When they're going on about, like,
it's indulgent. The second half is very... I think the whole book is very indulgent, but I think the second half is particularly indulgent.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by saying that it's indulgent?
Well, like, you guys were talking about... you know, like how, you were talking about how, like, it's repetitive and it just sort of feels like he got really into his own ideas and, like, he just really started to, like, become repetitive and become, I don't know, into himself. I don't really know how to describe it. It's hard, especially because I read it a whole month ago. I wish I had, like, a specific, like, thing to point out for it, but yeah, it just sort of felt like he thought his ideas were the coolest thing ever. And it's sort of, like, funny, I guess. Especially because, like, the first part of it, if you read the, like, acknowledgement at the end, he says that he knew someday he was going to write this book because it's based on an actual event that he had with some friends. They were hiking and they found a sheep strung up in a tree with, like, all of its organs and stuff hanging out, and they were really freaked out. And it was, like, one of the most affecting things that he's experienced, and so he knew he wanted to write a book about it someday. So that's why, like, it's realistic in a lot of ways, I think, in the beginning. And then in the end, it's just so completely unbelievable nothing like that could ever possibly happen. It just seemed so ridiculous.
That's a really good point.
And
Like, I think we
then-
could all see ourselves lost in the woods, right? Like, just
Yeah,
camping with some
right?
friends,
It's
but,
just
like,
scared about the unknown, right? Like, you have no idea. It's really ambiguous, and we don't know, is there, like, this scary thing, or is it in our heads? Like, we have no idea. And when you, like, really seal it up with this, like, ridiculous concept, it just makes it so, like, fiction. It's too fiction, I think. It's too much. And then, like, I think he was really indulgent with all of his commentary about religion. It was, like, so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a religious person, but, like, shut the fuck up.
yeah.
Just kept going. It was so funny to me, like, how much it just seemed like it was... I don't know if it was supposed to be if he's supposed to be writing a book really, truly, like, it's from the experience of, you know, Luke, or is this really him coming through? Like, does he just have a problem with religion, and that's why he wrote this book? You know, and he's trying to make a mockery of it at the end. So, I just, you know, there were so many things about it that seemed very, like, baby's first, you know, scary story, and it just seemed so silly to me.
So you feel
And
like
it's so
near the end he
frustrating.
had an agenda he was trying to fulfill.
I think he might have had an agenda. I think he was really, like, proud of this weird story he came up with, but it was, like, such a dramatic tonal shift from the beginning, that it sort of made it, really, really silly, and sort of, like, a lot of our main plot points were gone, and our main characters, not just in the fact that most of the characters died except for Luke, but there were other characters, like the fear and, like, issues that they were facing. Like, I would consider those kind of characters in a way, like, you know, there's the spooky monster, right? But there's also, like, the feeling of being lost, the concern about surviving, losing, you know, your humanity and your trust as you become more delusional, like, as you're hungry and scared and all this stuff. There's, like, being injured and being hopeless, and all that stuff was all in there. And then it's like, at the second half of the book, it's like, there's a spooky monster, and there's these very real humans who are holding you hostage. And, like, yeah, and he's injured as well, but it's, like, not even that important. It feels like, in a lot of ways, not as important as it was in the beginning, you know? So it's like, that all felt so tonally weird to me, to, like, completely lose this entire thing that we spent hundreds of pages building up, and then we're like, forget about it. Now it's just about using, you know, the C word and
Forget about it.
talking about this naked woman.
And how fat she is. Don't forget that.
Oh, that's a theme through the whole book, Shammy. Everybody's fat and gross. Like, he
Yeah,
really
I
hates
don't know
fat
if you
people.
guys I don't know if you guys picked this up, but, like,
Holy
talking about
shit.
Dom and Phil, and, like, he moved his big fat mass across the floor. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's one thing to use it now and then as a descriptor, like somebody's, like, fat or overweight, whatever. Fine, use that as a way to describe somebody. Fat people obviously exist, right? Whether this guy likes it or not, they exist. And, even Surtur too. I know you're not supposed to be sympathetic towards her. I realize that, but at the same time, like, every other description is calling her, like, a fat cunt, a fat bitch, a fat. It's like,
Yeah.
brother. I don't know what you guys thought about that, but that just kind of stuck out to me, especially because the book is so long, and so I think
Yeah.
you can notice this repetitive stuff a little more.
Yeah. That said, though, I mean, I did really actually like the first part. If we had taken some of the first bit out and shortened it up a little bit, and it ended exactly where it hit the second part, I would have given this book a 7 or 7.5 probably. But as it currently is, once I got to the end, unfortunately I have to give it a 5. I really...
Damn.
The end was so bad to me. It was so terrible.
Okay.
It completely messed up the entire book for me, which is really sad, because I don't know. I, like, had such a hard time finishing it. I was like, oh my god,
The second half did definitely go by slower. I was finding myself having to focus on it
Did
more.
we read the same book or no? Because I'm sorry, but
The floor is yours, Frida. Go ahead.
no, the first part of that book, I wanted to rip my eyes out and cry.
What did you find boring?
Bad.
What did
the
you find
whole
boring?
thing? It was like we got to the woods. Okay, went
Yeah.
on for a few pages. Next chapter. Oh, we found a house. Hey, I don't think we should go in there. Next chapter, and that went on for 4 or 5 chapters. I'm like, they were at that house for 6 or 7 chapters, and I'm like, what are we doing here? What's going on? And by the time, the third guy was dead, I was like, what's gonna happen in the rest of this book? What did you write about?
Because you knew there was a lot left, and you were like, "What
Yes.
else could possibly?"
And I'm
happen?
like, what did you write after everybody's dead now? Except for this one guy, what is gonna happen? That's literally what was going through my mind when I looked down and I saw how much I had left, and I was like, what else did you write about? Because it literally took you 40 chapters to get to this point, even remotely. That's where I started enjoying the book. I was like, oh, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, he got rescued. And then I was like, but there's still all of the rest of this book left. What is going on? And I was like, okay, now we're picking up into something. And then it trailed off for a little bit. I was like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? Who are these people? What are they doing?
So you were interested in getting to learn their motives and like who they were, where did they come from, like all that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the first part, I'm sorry, but I don't know what y'all found to be remotely interesting in that first half. It literally just drug on and on and on and on and on. And I was like, am I even going to... I almost DNF'd it. And I never
Really?
DNF'd anything. Yes. I was...
That's so funny. I thought it was so tense. Like there was so much like really good tension, and it was like
I don't
creepy.
see it.
What about when the guys had their little fight? What did we think about that?
When Luke went off on
Dom, I think
Dom?
it was, yeah.
I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Let's go.
You're like, action, yeah. I read this and I was like, oh my god, here we go.
And then I was like, dude, you got some serious fucking problems. I'm like, okay, maybe there is something in these woods that's fucking with these guys. Because, man, you got some issues going on. But okay, now we're starting to get somewhere. I can see. Let's go a few more pages. And then it's like, oh, man.
It's funny that you say that because when he has that whole fit of anger and whatever, I was like, oh, the monster must be possessing him. But come to find out, like, no, it's just him. It's like, okay, great, I guess. Cool.
I mean, I kind of thought, okay, if there is something out there, it is kind of messing with it. Obviously,
Because it's right after they had those dreams, right? It's right after it gave him those dreams.
For sure. So really, it just amplified his issues, for lack of a better word.
Damn, yeah.
No,
Jean,
but I'm
I thought
sorry.
that-
Yes, I wanted to just. I almost did. I really did. I was like, what is this?
That's so
what
funny.
I thought that the house part was like super creepy. That's the part that I was like, I'm gonna read this until like 2 a.m. on a work night. I also wanted to say, I wanted to mention something I almost yelled at, but that I didn't want to talk over anybody. But you said, Shammy, like, oh, so you want to know more about like their motives and like them as people or whatever. And I wanted to scream out loud, you don't have to wonder, because Adam Nevill can't shut the fuck up, and we have to know every single
I'm saying
thought.
Yeah.
Every
prior-
thought Luke has. There's nothing to the imagination. Oh my god.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was just talking about what was going through my mind.
Yeah.
Before you got to that part. So
Yeah.
I was just trying to, and that's exactly what I was thinking. Is I was like, okay, what is going to happen, and what is the rest of the 60% of this book? I'm sorry, but I remember specifically looking at the bottom of my Kindle, and I was like, 40%. Nothing is happening, or now they're dead. But what did you write about in this last 60%?
So you
Frito,
didn't-
I literally looked at it and I was like, oh no. Because I had liked it to that point, and I went, oh no, because if there's this much left, there's no way.
What, it's not going to keep the momentum up if there's this much left? That's what you're worried about?
That much left, there's no way it could be good.
So that's so funny.
Because
You
we're
guys, it was a
basically
turning
at the
point for
end.
both of you in different ways. Frito was like, well, I have to keep reading and see if it redeems itself. And then Ducky's like,
Yes,
oh, God.
exactly. Because I was like, okay, I can definitely start getting through this a little bit better because that was it moved like molasses on a winter freaking day. I'm sorry. I was literally trudging, and I'm like, come on, let's go. What's happening? Where are we going?
That's so funny. I don't know.
Nowhere.
I thought it was. It kept me because I found it realistic. I could place myself in their shoes, and I think I wouldn't be bored if I was stuck in a forest with some monster thing. We all like different things. I'm just saying, like, from my perspective, I guess it felt more real to me than like Scandinavian metal kids like keeping me hostage somewhere.
Teenagers!
Yeah, yeah.
You're trying to tell me that some teenagers could have done all this? Like, held this old lady hostage or some shit?
I
and
mean,
hold
okay,
this
to be
adult
fair,
man, like, I don't...
to
I
be
don't-
fair, she was technically keeping them because she wanted to sacrifice them, right? But
Yeah. I also hated that, like, I can understand and feel like, you know, I can feel for Luke with like the anger and stuff like that. And I didn't think it was anything paranormal why he was angry like that because, you know, Wump has like a lot of anger. Like he has a like random anger fits and stuff like that.
Sure,
and
yeah.
like, so I can see like that feeling.
I
like,
guess
for
if you're
sure.
like feeling cornered too, right? If you're not,
Yeah, right? And you're just like everything just like overflows and you can't like deal with it, right? So like I can totally see all that and everything. But I have to say it was so annoying that like, oh, now he can't be angry. He just suddenly he's passive. Now that it's fighting for his life, it's like I'm going to be passive. Like what? I was so
Fighting my friend, bet. Fighting
yeah,
for my
right?
life.
Like, man, I can't wait to punch the shit out of my friend, but oh, this teenager. I can't possibly overpower this teenager. I don't have the rage in me. Okay.
I just want to say, June, you haven't had a lot to say, so I'd like to open the floor to you and share your thoughts or whatever. I just don't want to leave you out of the conversation. So,
Should we send our in message, like our talking too much? So should we just send our like ratings or something?
I think we're okay. Just don't forget to use the hand emoji.
Okay.
You kind of went right into it. Use the hand emoji, everybody.
The hand job emoji.
I would just, I give it like a 6.
Okay.
I don't think it was great. Yeah, I kind of agree with, I think Sam kind of mentioned it before, but it felt like 2 different types of books. Like, it was like one was actually kind of creepy. And I think Shammy is right by saying, like, I think most people can kind of relate to being afraid of getting lost in the woods. It's easier to kind of relate to that since that seems more realistic. I think most people have been in a wood before and like been to a point where like, oh, make sure you follow the trail or make sure you stay together. But it's always a looming sort of fear or threat that you may not, right?
Mhm.
So it's pretty easy, but I don't think many people can say, yeah, I have an active fear of being kidnapped by Scandinavian teenagers and, almost sacrificed to a god. Like, I think most people don't really think about that comparatively. So I
And
think
if
that's
they
the reason
do,
why.
Then what's happened to you? Because damn.
Yeah. So it's just like, so the first part of it, I think, was probably the one that intrigued me more than the second part. Mainly because the second part seemed to drag really long for absolutely no reason. Like,
Yeah.
Shammy and I talked about this, and we're like, we're gonna like leave a lot of this for book club, but I gave her the example of when Luke and what's his name, Loki, were having a conversation, that really long conversation, where Loki was just like, okay, Luke, and then Luke's like, you bitch, you're stupid.
Okay,
And
Luke.
and it's just constantly just them. It was like literally like, I can't imagine how long it was, but when it came to the audiobook, I just almost like turned off my brain. Like,
reading it was the exact same experience, I have to say,
Yeah.
because like when I read, I kind of try to, I picture it's like a movie in my head. Basically, I picture the characters, I picture how they talk, blah 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 blah, and when Lukey, Jesus, that's their
When
ship
Loki-
name. Their ship name. When Loki just kept going and going and going, I just read it straight in my head voice, and I was like, okay, fuck that. I just want to get this over with. Like, I get it.
yeah, it was definitely something. So
And then it was
Yeah.
preachy, and
yeah, I was not a fan of the second part of it, but I felt better with the first because at least it made sense. To me, the purpose of it was Luke understanding that his perception isn't always truth, right?
Mhm.
So just because he sees that, oh, like Dom is being an asshole, doesn't mean that Dom doesn't have things going on outside of what is being shown.
So you're saying
Like-
he kind of learned empathy from all this, in a roundabout
Yeah,
way.
and I think that's the reason why he really stuck with Dom after, is because he realized that like there could be more to stories than just what's in front of him. And I think that's what he was trying to take to heart. Do I think that, like Ducky said, like he doesn't have that side of him anymore? No. I think most people, when they realize something like a flaw in themselves, it takes time to like work on that, right? But like your initial,
Just because you have the epiphany doesn't mean that it's all fixed and you're there. Like,
yeah, it takes time and effort to do that. It doesn't take a day or even an hour to be like, okay, I'm a different person. Like, that's kind of disingenuous, I think, when it comes to disingenuous in terms of like representing the way that people like grow. So I don't know, that's weird. I don't know. We're reading another book from this guy. Wait, did you not have enough?
you voted in the thing. What do you mean? You voted for it.
I voted no. I think I was the only person to vote no.
I
Yeah.
did vote yes, but because I also felt like I was going to be the only one that would vote no, so I was like, fuck it.
Oh my god, the peer pressured votes.
Wow.
It's
I did not feel bad because I was
it's
like,
not that
nope,
I didn't
I
feel
really don't.
bad. I just didn't feel like I was gonna, like, it would have mattered, if that makes sense.
I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you feel like your vote doesn't matter. Oh my god.
Well, there were like 3 people who already voted yes. I was like, okay, if I vote no and Frito votes no, we're still gonna be outvoted.
It's okay.
You know what I mean? So
Friends, please don't
I'll
treat any
take
like
my-
local elections like this. Oh my god.
yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah. This is just a book club. Who cares?
Yeah.
Don't
wanna
treat your
see-
politics like a book club.
Yeah, please.
I could see some potential that was there, and I thought originally this was his first book, but it's just like his first big book. Technically, he wrote 2 books before this, but
This book is big. That's wild. I cannot believe.
This is like one of his most like famous.
I mean, they
books.
made it
And he's
into a
actually
movie,
pretty
so-
famous.
That's true.
Yeah.
They did make it. Why? Why did they
He's
do
actually
that?
fairly.
Because they were like,
famous.
let's redeem this horrid book with a movie and make it better.
They
Or I
apparently-
don't know.
Guys could've-
I didn't
okay,
watch the
well,
movie, so I don't know.
It's true. We can talk more about the movie after, but like, yes, sort of, but sort of not. Sort of yes, sort of not. Anyway.
Okay, here's a question. Do you guys like the movie more than the book at this point?
No.
I would say about the same.
About the same.
About the same.
I like
Okay.
the end of the movie better, but the book beginning is much better than the movie.
They kind of had opposite problems. Like, to me, the movie was only an hour and a half. It was like zoomed by, and then all of a sudden it's
too
over.
fast.
But then the book like was kind of long, right? I if we could find a happy medium somewhere.
Yeah,
with
there
the
was
book-
there was no tension in the movie because it was too fast.
You didn't get a chance to know anybody or like be sad
Yeah.
when he really died. When Hutch first died, I felt that. I was kind of like, oh shit, okay, like
Yeah, right?
Always the fucking friendly one that dies.
yeah.
In the movie, it wasn't as friendly. Like, it seemed like they kind of made
Yeah.
him...
Very
But-
broy, like
Yeah, they made him weird.
Point,
I didn't like
he was
that.
the one being like, "Oh yeah, let's do this, let's do that." Whereas in the book, you know, he was like trying to keep everything together. Like, "Oh my god, I don't know
He
what
was-
I'm doing, but I'm trying everything
Yeah, he
to get
was
these people out alive." Like,
he was acting mediator basically, so like he was trying his best, but like I didn't really see that in the movie. But on top of that, when it came to the movie, I felt like wasn't it made by an indie group or something? That's that's the reason why I thought, oh, this is probably a reason why it's so like short, is because indie groups don't really have a lot of money, so they have to make things short as a result. But if it's not, then they don't really have a
It was
choice.
a
you know?
Netflix movie.
It was a
oh,
Netflix
like
movie.
made by Netflix.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
made by Netflix.
makes
Oh,
sense.
then they just fucked up.
Yeah, I think they just because so they put in a different storyline at the beginning in the movie. Like the crux of all of this stuff is like basically based off of an additional character who you know, him and Luke go into a liquor store and the liquor store is being held up. And you know, they like fabricate a reason to feel bad for this guy that you don't know by like they're trying to rob this guy and they're like, give me your ring, and he's like, no, it's my wedding ring, I won't give it to you, and he's being robbed at gunpoint, and they're like, give me your ring or I'll kill you, and he's like, no, I can't. Which, as someone who has now lost, it's gone, permanently gone, my engagement ring, it's gone. Like, it's just a ring, alright? Like, it's just a fucking ring. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way someone would die instead of giving up their gold wedding ring. So, it was such a fabricated thing to try to make you feel like, oh, but he's a good guy. He doesn't want to, like, betray his wife by not giving his ring up. Instead, he'd rather die so that she doesn't have a husband anymore. But anyway.
Yeah, right?
More of a betrayal? I don't know.
Look at how much the coward Luke was in the beginning, because in the book he was just ready to fight anything, anybody.
Yeah, right? So it was such a weird thing. And then so his friend, whose name I don't even remember, this guy dies because
Rob,
Luke doesn't
I
help.
think.
Rob, yeah, I
Something
think
like
so.
that.
This basic white guy name.
Like, yeah,
That's pretty funny.
That's-
Dude.
that's the entire.
So Rob
like,
died from getting robbed. That's fucked up.
Yep. Wow.
Damn.
Think about that.
That's,
It's like they
Um,
didn't bother changing his name in the script. They were like, Rob, nobody will notice. Just call him Rob.
just Rob, I guess. Like,
Listed his name a few times, anyways. It's
I'm
fine.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they say he's got kids too, and it's like you would literally never.
Oh yeah, and
live your
Hutch had
life.
kids
What a
in this
fucking
too.
stupid-
Whereas
Yeah.
in the
Hutch
book,
did not
he
have
just
kids.
had his wife.
No, he had kids in the movie.
Yeah, he had kids in the.
I think
Hutch had kids
Phil
in the movie.
and Dom had kids. If
Yeah,
I'm not
Phil and
mistaken.
Dom had
they
kids.
Newly married.
Yeah.
That's actually in the book. That's how they're getting together. They're getting together because Hutch is getting married, and they're all invited.
yes.
In the movie, they're just hanging out for whatever reason, which is like so against like what it is in the book, because the book is like they've all fallen out of like touch with each other in a lot of ways, but you know, you invite your college
It
friends.
was a
you know,
reunion
your
gone
wedding,
bad
you know,
kind
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so in the movie, they just like fabricate the story because it's easier to tell the story, I think, and then they make the entire film about guilt and like use the monster as like a symbolism, like guilt becoming guilt being a monster, and you becoming a monster because of guilt, and like stuff like that.
And overcoming your fear to protect your whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And so like that's what they do in the movie, whereas obviously that's so different because really, like you said, June, it's more about like understanding empathy and kind of getting out of your own head, like that you're not the only person who has problems, like there's a lot of shit going on, and like learning to try to deal with all of that and not just be so like self-involved. I think like that's sort of more the story, I guess, of what's happening, if you can say that.
Yeah, now that you say that, it kind of has me wonder, like, what is the moral of the book? I guess, like,
I don't think there
the
really
small
is
things.
one.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
like...
I don't really like. That's one thing that I noted, is that I thought there was a very clear like this is what the movie is about. Whereas I did not feel like, I felt like the book was more just a character story about like, you know, about characters, about a plot. Something happens, something else happens in the end. You know, and so I felt like it was more like that. But I mean, I guess there was also like all the religious stuff was very like present throughout it. It was very like, oh, look at the crosses and like look at the church and all this stuff. It was very like specific, and then it was like very freaky like devil worship stuff, and then it was at the end, you guys are just as bad as religion.
Pagan
like,
shit. Oh.
Yeah, pagan shit. And like, isn't pagan shit stupid? Like, basically, there was just so much of that. I think that was the only other moral, is like, yeah, okay, I get it. You do not like religion.
Just as an aside, okay, I don't know if any of you have seen what Adam Nevill actually looks like, but he of looks... I'm not going to say anything specific, okay, but he looks like a certain type of individual. And that's all I'm going to say. I implore you all to... Actually, you know what? I'll post it in our VC chat here. I'll post a picture of what he looks like in VC chat, and you can draw your own conclusions. But I saw him, and it's funny because we were talking about, damn, he hates fat people, blah, 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 and it just kind of makes sense. We don't judge people based on their look. Two of them. Thank you, Ducky.
There he is.
We don't need two of him. I'll delete. Well, we don't need two of him. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Anyway,
an emoji for the
not that Frito, not that. Anyway, yeah. So there are a few things that you guys had mentioned that I kind of want to come back to. I did remember. Okay.
Ew, he looks musty. Sorry.
I wasn't gonna say anything, June, but yeah.
Sorry, he's musty.
Okay,
guys,
he looks like your racist uncle. There, I said it.
Does
okay,
have a little bit of that look to him.
It's given Trump flag in the lawn. It's given like. Anyway, so June, I remember you had said, okay, you had made a comment that everyone sucks here. Can you expand on that? What part made you say that? Why did you say that? Can you expand on that, please?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, it was. I was reading the beginning part of it, and this was before the whole revelation of, oh, Dom is going through his divorce thing, and they're trying to get away from it and stuff like that. Well, I mean, like, we always talk about how, yes, you may be going through something, but that doesn't mean you don't take, responsibility for the actions and the things that you say. So that still makes you an asshole. Then Luke is also an asshole, because honestly, I mean, he was also not trying to talk things through, and he wasn't trying
his friends in the forest when they're just trying to escape.
He was also trying to fight his friends in the forest, and he also was just like, hey, look at these fat people who are like keeping us behind. How can you, dumbass, how can you ruin your ankle? Now I can't go fast because you have to go so slow.
I can't go fast now.
And then
I want to ever be Sonic. Oh.
Honestly, people think that Hutch is a very nice guy. Obviously, he's a nicer person in between. But, like, to be honest, I feel like he was an asshole, too. Because, like, he was keeping a lot of things. And he was
sort
also
of the lesser of the evils, I guess you could say.
But it's kind of like when you say, oh, he didn't abuse anybody, but he did neglect people. And neglect is still kind of something that's bad too, right? And he...
Sorry,
Yes?
Sorry, I don't want to talk over you.
It's just that it's not that he was neglecting, but he was seeing how much like Dom and whatever the fuck that guy's name is, I don't remember.
Phil?
Whatever. Phil, yeah. He saw how like rude they were being, and he didn't take Luke's side, or he didn't say, "Hey, like that doesn't mean that you can be that way," or anything. Like
He stopped the fight, but he didn't like resolve it further.
He never resolved it. He just like he let things simmer. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of like an analogy, but anyway, it's like you're seeing all your friends argue and fight, but you're not resolving anything. You're literally just like letting them
You're being
hate
a
each other.
bystander.
Yeah, you're like letting them hate each other and hate each other and hate each other until Luke explodes. Like that doesn't help anything. Like, so that's the reason why I said everybody's an asshole here.
Kind of toxic.
Yeah, it's giving toxic positivity. It really is. So like it was like almost like he was trying to avoid having those hard conversations until literally he had to, which is not great either. Imo, but that's my explanation.
I will say that I thought he did a really good job of writing flawed characters. Even Hutch is flawed, even though he's supposed to be the nice guy, right? Like he could just be like perfect. But everybody was super flawed, and everybody was shitty in this shitty situation. Like, I would be shitty too. I would try not to be, but I would be. I know I actually would end up being that way. Realistically, I think most of us would. And so I think it was really nice to see him write these flawed characters, because I think so often authors struggle with that. They just write basically perfect people, and then they put a really generic flaw.
You do kind of see the breakdown. Like, you do see that.
It's like when you are making a Sims character and you give them all these great traits, and then you're like, well, I've got to give them one bad one, right? And you give them, like, a not really bad one, you know? Or, like, you're interviewing, what are your biggest strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah.
And your weekness is, like, I listen too much.
I always say that I'm too hard on myself.
That's the way that, you know.
KB want to join book club? Does he want to like?
Yeah, KB.
Oh, sorry.
Shut the fuck up.
I thought I was muted. He was saying I'm dancing, and then he's just twerking. He's twerking in the room.
Love it. Love that.
KB, twerk your way into book club. Jesus.
He can't read.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah. I watched the movie. Does that count?
No.
What?
We're comparing both. You can't compare with only one thing.
Did you watch the movie?
I watched a little bit. Watched like half.
You saw most of it. You saw. Okay.
You fell asleep. Forget about it.
Called
didn't
out.
read the book.
Called out. Anyway. Yes, I think authors are usually like that. They're like,
like with their Mary Sue's or whatever. Like, I am level-headed at all times.
Exactly. And so I think he did a really good job at making like really flawed characters that can be kind of unlikable, you know, but you still feel for them. Like, you still feel bad when they die, and you still feel bad when horrible things happen, and, you know, when you're seeing them get hurt and stuff like that. Like, you know, you still feel bad. And even, like, the shitty teenagers he kills, you sort of feel bad. They didn't really develop the characters very much, but I think he did a decent job of, like, making interesting, flawed characters. So I appreciated that, actually. But, yeah, I mean, they are annoying, for sure. Like, they're all kind of jerks.
I will say, when he actually went back to kill them, I was kind of... I don't want to say impressed, but I was kind of surprised by that. I genuinely thought that he was just going to, like, find the keys and fuck off. I did not expect him to, like, go on a little murder spree and kill everybody. Mm-hmm. That was kind of a surprise to me.
I have another random thing about the writing that, like, I'm really looking forward to reading another book by him because I'm really hoping that he improved. But, like, there was something that bothered me immediately. And I'm wondering if anybody else noticed this. Did you notice that the very beginning of the book is... Nothing is told, obviously, first person, but the focus character is Hutch, and then suddenly it's not. Then suddenly it's Luke for the rest of it. It was like 2 chapters.
Yeah, that's
I was
interesting.
so confused. At first, I like kept rereading, and I was like, "Oh, what? Like, do I have the names mixed up? Like, this is so confusing. Who is who because of the change?" Because I have never read a book that does that. That is such an odd thing to do, and it seems like it's a mistake.
It seemed like, too, I don't know how else to describe this, but it seems like the voice of the book changed. Like, if it had a very different feeling in the first part, not just what happens, but I mean, like, in how the surroundings are described and how people talk and how the atmosphere is built. It just kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but it felt very okay. It's come to me. In the first half, when they're stuck in the forest,
talk it out.
yeah, I'm thinking out loud here. in the first half, when they're stuck in the forest, the focus is very much on describing the sounds, describing the feelings, describing the atmosphere, and then in the second part of the book, it's very character based, which is fine. Like every book kind of has a different voice in that way. I hope this makes sense, but it just feels like in the second part, and I guess it does make more sense because like you can only describe being trapped in a house so much, but you know, there's obviously more of a descriptor of the teenagers and the old lady and that whole thing. It just felt like the author's style had kind of changed a bit surrounding that.
I guess maybe that's what I meant by indulgent when I was trying to talk about it earlier. It's like, you said there's only so much you can write, like, when you're in this house. And it's like, well, then write less.
Yeah, it did not need to
You
be...
did not need that kind of length for that section. And so it just felt indulgent for him to just, like, over-describe everything and, like, over-analyze everything. And what was with the weird wrinkly people? I don't know, man.
If anything, I feel like if it would have just indeed been a cult, like in the movie, that would have added more tension. It would have kept the momentum going.
I agree. I actually think,
yeah.
And it would have actually been related too, because like we're seeing all this stuff. Like, why is the creepy house full of like a bunch of weird, like worshipy kind of culty stuff? Well, because there's a cult. Like, it would make more sense, right? So it just was so random to like just choose a metal band drives off after killing people in the city. They drive off to the countryside to try to summon a demon that already exists. I don't know. And it also, the other thing is, I think the strength in the beginning was the vagueness of so many things. Things were only like half described
because they're lost.
Like,
so.
Yeah, like when you're trying to imagine, like even when he's describing like the like thing in the house, like it doesn't quite, you can't quite picture it because it's like just a little weird, right? And he's like, there's like this indescribable quality about it. It's like a, you know, modern day like H.P. Lovecraft, like the unknowable fear, you know? And like, so there was this, I think, sense of that in the beginning, and you never quite saw the monster, right? Like, you never quite know what everything is, which I thought was so much better with the tension. But then in the second half, he just describes everything in such detail that there's nothing left to the imagination. So it's like, even the monster, it's like we start to describe it too much, and when you put an image on it, that makes it worse, I guess. And that's sort of how I felt with the movie too. Like, it lost some of it because you have to show somewhat. So I don't know, I just felt like the over description of things, it felt like a Dean Koontz book or something at the end, you know?
Interesting. Interesting.
I don't know.
But Frito, it sounds like from your side of you would have wanted to see the second half embellished a little more. Can you talk more on that?
Maybe not like more embellished, but more of like I honestly think he could have cut down the first part of it, and actually, you know what? It could have cut down a lot of it because honestly, I think there was just a lot of stuff going on, and I feel like there was just a lot of verbiage for what was actually going on. To be honest, I mean, like I said, it was 20 chapters of them just at the house in the beginning. That might be an exaggeration, but that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't think that this warranted 20 chapters of verbiage about I don't even know what. Like,
trees,
I was
and
like,
it's cold and it's raining.
Yes. I'm like, okay, it's raining. Y'all are wet.
I'm sorry,
Next
but at
page.
some part, I couldn't help but think this is like Forks. This is very Forks coded. Because of like the gray forest wetness, like, oh, it's giving Forks.
But yeah, and even some part of the second half of it too. I was just like, why do we need all of this? Why did we need to know about this chick smelly hoo-ha?
Yeah.
Why was that necessary? We did not need to know that information. I'm sorry. That was not relevant or pertinent information to the story. I literally highlighted that part and I was like, ew. And I think I was even eating my lunch at that time when I was eating it. And
No.
I was like, ew. Oh.
Were you eating like yogurt?
No.
Cottage cheese.
No. No, thank God.
Vital.
Cream.
But I really think that I feel like maybe he just tried to do too much, to be honest. And I want to say both parts of it, the beginning and the ending.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just too much.
That's fair.
I feel like it could have been shortened down quite a bit, and maybe that would have made it a little bit better to process and go, because I mean, literally, I was like, that emote or something where they like had their hands under their eyes and then they're dragging their cheeks down. Like, that's what I felt like. I'm like, oh my God, is this ever gonna end?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it should have been 2 separate books. Firstly, they could be 2 books based in the same universe. That's fine. And
if anything, that would be compelling. If they're in the same universe, like the same, that would be really good, actually.
But both of them should have been 20% shorter.
I agree with that.
20 to 30% shorter. Even when I liked the beginning, it still was, I agree, too long. It was like, there could have been a medium. Like, I think there was definitely some of the part where, like, after the house stuff, and then, like, they're wandering around looking for other ways and stuff, during the day, and him finding the church and stuff, that part was very long, and it definitely did not need to be that long. So, I think if you made it into 2 totally separate books, set in the same universe, same monster, whatever, then you cut them down 20 to 30%, I think we would have been much better off.
Oh, that's what I was gonna mention, because y'all were talking about the cult with the metal band or whatever. Did y'all read the very end of it in the acknowledgements?
I did. Yes, I did.
Wait, go back. Oh, not there.
Yeah, like he consulted experts, metal band
see.
experts or something.
Experts.
Yeah, the rise of the satanic metal underground. So I'm guessing, but the thing is that this is in part of the world where we're not a part of. So we do not understand their traditions or those kind of things that happen over there, because you never know. This might have been a thing at some point. I don't know. We don't know. I mean, just like here in the US, there's probably some things that went on back in the day that not a whole lot of people knew was going on.
I mean, that's kind of how they rationalize the existence of this old god monster in the first place, right? Like, oh, it's in a hidden part of the woods that humans haven't been to for centuries, and that's how we were able to keep it hidden and no one knows about it, right? That's kind of how they rationalized it.
But yeah, too, and yes, it is kind of absurd. But I mean, I don't know.
Even
I think it felt like a social commentary. I don't know if that's what you're trying to get at, but like, you know, like.
Are you
these
saying like
things
it could
might
be
just
potentially
happening.
offensive? Like if you're a Swedish person reading
No,
this,
not
It's, like,
offensive.
based in,
No,
like,
I'm just saying,
happening.
like, that somebody at some point did some research and
Okay.
maybe found out that, hey, this might have been something that was going on that people actually did and took part of in
yeah.
who knows what time of what century. You know what I mean?
I mean, I realize they're German, but it kind of reminded me of Ramstein a little bit. Anybody know Ramstein?
It reminded me of that too.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Well, I
Okay.
used to be into metal long ago when I was a youngster, and would go to like metal shows, and I liked Rammstein and other German metal bands and stuff like that. And like definitely like that is 100% things that happen. Like
Yeah.
metal being related to like Satanism and like moral panics related to that. So those are definitely real things. So it does seem like it could be kind of like a social commentary. He's obviously commenting on his thoughts about religion as well, and sort of like the irony that like they think that they're going against religion and going against like society, but they're kind of doing the same thing. And like, so he keeps commenting on all that kind of stuff. So I definitely could see that aspect of it, like as far as like the burning down churches and stuff like that in the city and killing people. I think that's a real, like that's based in something real. I think that just a spooky house in the woods with an old lady and like some dusty old skin bags upstairs and like a weird like goat thing. It's kind of like, okay. That's where it was a little bit, or like just the fact that they would get themselves into this particular situation seemed the most like weird. So it's kind of like he got those ideas, it felt like to me at least, like he got these ideas from somewhere, he read about them and he was like, that'd be cool to write about, and then he tried to shove them into this book for some reason, and so he had to make it so weird. Like he could have written about that without like fisting it in there. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
fisting it into her lumpy, smelly.
Oh God! Shut up! Shut up!
Hi, Ken. Hello, Ken Blade VA.
We
Welcome.
do not need to hear that. Oh fuck no!
It's so hilarious too that you guys bring this up too, because
timing.
I was reading a review. I was
No,
reading.
you Ken.
Yeah, no, you. I was reading a review, and somebody had brought that line up, and at the time, she's doing that because she's trying to stop him from escaping, right? And so somebody had said, you know, if you're trying to escape, would your thought really be, damn, this girl's stanks? Like, like, would you really take a second to be like,
hoo-wee, that's a right.
yeah, like, walked in the fish shop, hello, ladies. Like, I
girl
don't-
needs some Vagisil. Like,
yeah. Don't use that. It's bad for you. Don't use that. But yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't you? I don't know. Like,
spoiler,
like,
she's using Vagisil. That's the problem.
yeah. Yeah, in that rickety old house, she somehow has that, but like nothing else. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was wondering though. But I heard y'all talk about it a little bit earlier about how they just like did they just randomly happen upon that place, or
I was
they
going
just
to
like
ask that. They don't
they,
describe. Like, how do they find this place? How do they come across
I
it?
mean, the only thing that I remember it referencing is them being like, "Oh, we were called to this place," or whatever, or it was destiny or something, and you being here too. And I'm just like, but how did y'all really come?
They got
out
lost
here,
in the woods
though?
as well. I guess. Well, they were on the run, right? Because didn't they kill somebody or something? Several
Yeah, I
people.
feel like
I thought that they. Oh, I
drove
thought
out
they
there
did
and
that
found it.
after the fact. Did they do that prior to them finding the god and the old lady and her?
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
how I
before that.
understood it. Yeah, and they were on the
It
run.
sounded like
they
it was
stole-
like a couple days later, you know, like they're, or like
they
a
stole
week later or
somebody's
something.
truck. That's how they got
Yeah.
there.
Oh, maybe I just totally blurred that out of my brain or something when I read it. I don't.
It's not
fair.
well
There's
described.
so much stuff to
Yeah.
take in. There's too much.
Yeah, it was definitely a
Unless
lot.
one of the guys mentioned it in their monologue and I skipped over it because I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's possible.
I got the impression that they just, they were on the run and they knew there was like something spooky out in these woods. And so they just came out here.
Wasn't it alluded
then
that
they
they
just
also
found
had
her.
run into this monster and then they found the house with the old lady?
I didn't think that they had run into the monster. They wanted the monster.
Okay.
But I didn't think that they had actually done it. I don't know for sure, though. I feel like you've made a mistake if you have 3 different people saying 3 different things. Because none of us can figure out what the fuck was going on, even though you described it over like 200 pages.
Sam, June, what do you think? Round it out. What do you think? What happened?
I don't know. Now that I'm hearing your points of view, honestly, I don't know.
You're like, damn, man, I don't know.
Actually, I'm. Maybe I read it wrong or listened to it wrong. Fuck.
No, I don't think you're the problem here. I really don't.
And reading another book by this guy? Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
We can
Listen,
revisit.
I'm not here for the author character development. Okay?
I think that people universally as well with this book, when you read like Reddit threads and stuff, this author and this book get recommended a lot, but this book is very well loved but very divisive, largely because of its tonal shift, and most people hate the ending. And most people like the beginning because it's creepy. And so his other books, unfortunately, this tonal shift thing is kind of a thing he does. So, at least there's one book I know has a very dramatic tonal shift that's on the wheel. The other ones I don't think do.
I added an extra one myself to the wheel. Was the reddening?
Which one?
I added that one.
Oh,
yeah.
People don't like that one.
Well, I added it. I added it because I saw a lot of people talking about it. I didn't realize it was bad.
Does have a lot. No, I mean that's the thing is like he's got like a lot of fans and they're like very mixed. I don't know. So I don't know. I think that I could see some potential there. It's a very early book for him. He wrote this this was published in like 2011 or something. This is a pretty old book at this point. So I'm really hoping that maybe there's been some improvements since then.
I do think the comparison will make for interesting discussion.
Yeah.
So.
But I think this is actually one of the most effective, creepy things I've read. And like, I love horror. I love horror everything. And I feel like it's really hard to actually make decent horror. But I thought the part where they were in the house and like they wake up and they're all in these different places and I was like, oh damn, like I thought that was actually super creepy and super good. And part of that probably could be I was reading it in the dark with only the light of my Kindle, like in bed at like midnight, 1 a.m. So like that probably
I will say, definitely, even when I was on the bus reading it in between, like that first part, I couldn't stop reading it. Like it was just really good.
That's what I thought too. I thought that part was so friggin' good. And so I was like really like jazzed on it. And I couldn't believe it had such a dramatic difference. So
I don't mind a tonal shift if it's like if it makes sense. Like I don't hate like a 180 flip. I don't hate it. And even in this book I didn't necessarily super hate it, but at the same time it was just kind of like that gif of the kid and like whoa, like that's kind of how it was.
It wasn't necessary. Like literally,
yes, that's it. Yes.
2 parts, 2 separate things that were technically connected, but would have been better like just off on their own.
It wasn't. I think like maybe some of what makes like when you're saying like I'm okay with like a 180 shift and like a tonal shift, like a Shyamalan like twist, right? Yeah. But this wasn't a twist because it was unrelated.
Yeah,
this second part has literally nothing to do with the beginning, with the exception that it's all focused around this monster. But it's not like his friends died because of these stupid teenagers. You know, like, so it has nothing to do with anything. So that's why it wasn't even like it's not a twist or anything.
Actually,
It's not like he reveals something about the monster. The monster's just still the monster.
yeah. Actually, in reading that second part, it feels like the other stuff that happens is a million miles away. And I don't know if that's intentional or not. Like Phil and Dom and Hutch are all brought up kind of in passing, if anything. And like...
Yeah, exactly. We spent hundreds of pages with these guys.
Right,
and it's like, well, fuck it. Who cares? At least in the movie, like, Dom is still with him. Like, they go all the way to this house and everything, and there's still Dom, and it's still, like, this, you know, connection that they have, and it makes sense. At least it ties it together more. This is literally like we ended the book, and then we just picked it back up with this guy here for some reason. I don't know why.
Remember this guy?
Yeah, like we wanted him to sit in his underwear pissing himself in a weird box bed.
Oh,
like, I don't know.
Hey, and then it just like at the end, it just kept mentioning he's like, he's naked. I'm naked.
Yeah.
Lucas naked. Lucas naked, and I'm just like, is nobody
Fat
else?
bitch, I'm naked. Fat bitch, I'm naked and I piss myself. Fat bitch.
That's a sweet song, Jamie.
Fat bitch. Fat bitch.
Oh, are you making a metal song now? Nice.
I was gonna say. Man, they would love that.
Oh, that hurt my throat doing that. Damn, I'm not.
Yeah,
I can't do the metal scream.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, the movie. That ending just makes so much more sense. It to be like a weird culty thing. I like that.
It is interesting that they bring Loki back into it, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I kind of liked that actually, how they looped that back.
And then I mean, like, you know, it's a winner when he just punches that old woman in the face. That shit was literally hilarious. I laughed out loud. Like,
I laughed because I wasn't expecting it. It was like so slapstick. I don't know.
I mean, it was at least realistic because like so often I'm like, why don't you just do something? Like, that's what I kept feeling like in the book. It was like there's so many things you could do right now, but you're not doing any of them. And then like when you do try to do something, you half-ass it. Like, come on, bro. Like, have some fight in you. Like, man, I don't know. I mean, as a fellow, you know, for those of us who have thought about this, you know, as women, I don't know about you, but I've sat down and thought about, okay, poke the eyes, get the crotch, like you, like I've thought about the things that you need to do in the situation, right? Like, are you telling me he's never thought about that and it didn't occur to him to do like any of those things? Like, he has balls. He would know that he can incapacitate somebody by kicking them in the nads really fucking hard.
Well,
right?
I did want to ask, like, if we were in this situation, what would you guys do? I honestly can't. I would try to look for a path,
Turn
but, like,
around
in the woods?
Would never have gone off the path.
Yeah, honestly.
Turn around.
I would not have been caught outside hiking in some woods. What do you mean?
Even for a reunion, you would have been like, you guys have fun, I'm staying home. Fuck that.
For
like,
real.
I haven't talked to you bitches in 10 years. Forget it.
I like hiking, but I would not stray off the path into like these unknown woods. And certainly if it looked like that when I got in there, I would just not. I would turn around and go back. Like, I feel like that's
turn around,
such a simple
don't drown.
answer. Yeah, right? Like, I don't know. Seemed pretty obvious to me. But I don't know, right? Like, that we wouldn't have a story then.
I was muted. I didn't realize I muted myself by accident. I would be Phil. Like, I would wreck my ankle. I would slow us down. You guys would have your chats. Like, should we just leave Shammy behind? Like, she's so fucking slow. Like, I just want to, like that would be me. I totally own that. I walk slow as it is. Like, ask June. Like, I'm such a slow walker. And people have to slow down for me to, like, keep up with them, so...
I'm a speed walker. I'm one of those kinds of people.
I can choose. But I usually just walk at a normal You can also ask Shammy about that, too.
I am
slow
so
down
short.
for me, which is nice.
I am so short, yet my, like, stride, I'm like, let's go!
Dude, my boss...
and I are both fast walkers.
My boss is a tiny lady. She's like 120 pounds soaking wet, maybe. She's my height. she can fucking Zoom. And I'm like, she'll have me carry stuff. She'll hold a conversation. We'll walk floors. I'll be like, like trying to keep up with her. It's like, oh my God, please. So I would be the Phil of the friend group. I would be the Phil of the friend group, just saying.
Oh my God, because if it were, I wish I could be Jan's at her age.
She's incredible. She bikes, she runs, like
what the?
she's crazy. She's
wow.
cracked. I know.
I'm 34 and I don't even do that.
I'm telling you.
34, I might as well be dead.
No, I'm like, damn, Jan's like 3 times my age. That's dramatic. She's twice my age, okay? Not 3 times. and it's just kind of like, it makes me reevaluate.
She's one of those wrinkly skin bags.
She's 200 years old. But no, for real, she makes me reevaluate. Like, damn, should I like start working out again? Like, should I be like doing something about it? Like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Actually, in fact, it would be Jan's idea to go hiking. She'd be like, "Yeah, let's go in the mountains." And go.
Would she be like, "Let's go in this forest"?
I don't know.
Of like scraggly.
Let's go through. Let's head due southeast in this non-walkable path,
non-traversable forest. Yeah.
with no machete or anything to knock down anything. This virgin forest.
Yeah. Is that terminology used? I think it is. Virgin forest.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
It's untouched. Well, there's probably a reason it's untouched. We should leave it that way.
Chad Forest versus Virgin Forest.
Now
Chad
it's not
Forest
the
has a
time to
monster
take
in
to take
Virgin
the hard
Forest
path.
versus Vagisil Forest.
Oh God! Oh my God!
Oh no!
There's a theme tonight.
Hey, that's a great commercial. Don't want a monster to chase after you? Use pH balance.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't really have any further thoughts. I think we've said all about, at least I've said all about what I can say. I will say in talking, I'm going to lower my rating a bit. I think I'm going to give it like a 6.75 rather than a 7. Because some of the writing stuff and the length, etc., is just too egregious. So I knock 0.25 off. That's me.
Fair.
Any other thoughts, comments, opinions, ratings?
I'll give it a 4.5 out of 10.
Holy shit. All right. So hold on. Let me write this down. So Shammy gives it 6.75 out of 10. Frito gives it a 4.5. That's your lowest one yet, I think.
No.
No?
A complicated. I'm pretty sure complicated kindness.
I always black out at that one. I always like forget that one.
Forget that when you read that fucking book.
Yeah.
I'm so curious if like we separated it out beginning and end part, like first half and second half, what people's like ratings would be.
It would still be worse.
I know
worse.
the first one would probably be worse for you, but you think the second half would be better?
Like if it was a standalone thing, what would you?
Yeah.
Maybe it would be a higher rating because then I wouldn't feel like I, was trudging through molasses on a frozen morning, Negative
I love that description.
5 degrees.
It sounds so Canadian. I would give the first half like maybe as high as an 8, and then the second half a 6.
I really feel like we did not read the same book.
Different people like different things, Frito. Different people.
I must have not read the right book or something.
Different people like different things. Say it with me.
I think I read the wrong book, guys.
Oh my God. I got a misprint, everybody.
It's a reverse print, actually. It's just really
Is that why we all have different ideas of how the teens got into the forest? Sam, what do you think? What's your rating?
On the book, I'd say the first part was like an 8. I generally really enjoyed it. Was it perfect? No. The second part, I don't know. Maybe a 5.8. It wasn't the worst book I've ever read, but it was just kind of okay.
What about like consolidated? What's your overall score?
Overall rating. Ooh. Good question.
Good question.
I struggled so bad with that too. 'Cause I really liked the first part, but I really hated the second part. So I was like, oh.
I think it has to go, like, I don't know, knocked down to 6.5. Like that.
Okay.
That ending was just kind of eh.
Do we think that he lives or dies at the very end? I felt like he died. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
You know what? I think he died only because he was naked,
like,
and hopefully he died of hypothermia.
Oh my gosh.
Put out of his
Damn.
misery.
I hope that he got 1 mile within civilization and croaked over and died.
That's spite, Frito.
yeah.
I hope he saw a car and then died.
I hope his penis shriveled up into his body first.
I'm sorry, but that's all I can think about. Every time they'd be like, he's naked, and I'm like, man, just flopping about, walking around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really likes describing naked.
I hope he had a yeast infection just like the girl in the house, man. Gross. Anyway.
He had something on, but a little girl skirt. Like, what the fuck?
Because, I mean, all I could think about, and I just, this is what I imagine, right? When it got towards the end and it was just kept bringing up that he was naked, and I'm like, what's going to happen if he does get rescued and he happens upon some people? Oh, yeah, I killed about 3 people back there. I don't have any clothes. You know what I mean? Like, would they charge him for indecent exposure because he's just naked, balls to the wall, out in
Considering
the
he
open?
has, like, his skull cracked open, I think at that point they'd be like,
He's like,
ooh,
oozing.
okay.
Honestly, I should go to hell for this. But you know, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but I've definitely done this. Like,
Whoa.
when you like think about just like existing in like your house naked or whatever, like just hanging out, and then you're like, there are certain things that you do naked that couldn't be like less attractive, like they're just terrible.
Like if you bend over to get something or something.
Yeah, like you're squatting down, like, right, you know, or like just certain actions. And I'm thinking to myself, like, where do you think shooting a rifle naked like lands in that? Like,
Or like when he's put on the crucifix and they straight up describe like, oh, the dress came down over his head and his thing was exposed. Like, why do we need to know this?
Wait,
Like,
that's right. He was in the truck naked too, right? Driving down through.
yeah.
I must have blocked that out because I could just think towards the end and it just kept bringing it up. He's naked.
Like,
he's
I
naked.
don't
get
even
it.
think about
He's
this
naked.
guy's dick while he's running for his life. I'm sorry.
This is not the kind of smut I want to read.
Not like this. Not like this.
It's because so here's the thing, like, about there's so much of that in this book where it's like using something like specifically him getting put on the crucifix, right, and the dress thing falls down and exposes him, right, like that is another dehumanizing moment for him, like he's so dehumanized, so it could be effective, right? But then he just keeps using it in all these other points
It loses its effectiveness. Yeah,
because they're just random. It just exists for no reason, and that just keeps happening in this book. Where it's like you had an idea, but then you just got stupid about it.
Also,
So
no
if you had
mention of
just
sweaty, unwashed
that-
balls, which I'm sure they were at that point. Just saying.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right. Chase.
He did, and it talked so much about how much he stunk and how much he just peed himself all the time, what he was laying in. And I'm like, we get it. He's gross. He hasn't had a shower in I don't even know how long now. I don't even think it was that long.
No, it wasn't.
I don't
It
know.
wasn't that long, Shammy. I think it was like 4 or 5 days. At
Lord.
But
max.
it felt like 5 years.
Yeah.
That is one thing though that made the movie so weird. The movie felt like a day.
Yes.
Like,
yes, it did.
so you're like, okay, why are we afraid? Like, I mean, I guess we're afraid of the monster, but like, we don't have any of that, like, oh no, survival. And they're like out of food instantly. And it's like, you would not go hiking without provisions of, like, at least a couple days if you're doing, like, a real hike like this. You're
I
not
feel
just,
that
like,
it was partly
you know.
on purpose to describe like how unready and like casually they took it. Like the one guy's wearing jeans, right? Like I think the point was just kind of.
But Hutch wouldn't do that. Like,
yeah, true.
Luke and Hutch know what they're doing. There's
True.
no way they would just be like, yeah, I didn't bring any food. Like,
and you think they tell their friends too, like, hey, don't wear jeans, like come with enough whatever, like.
Yeah.
I think they did say that. They said, oh, we told him not to wear jeans, and here he is with fucking jeans on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
In the
okay,
shoes
my
they
bad,
were
my
like,
bad.
In yet, which we warned him, don't do that.
yeah, exactly. Why are you wearing new shoes? What are you doing? You know? So it made it sort of like weird and unbelievable.
We agreed that you were gonna work out and lose some weight before we went on this hike, and you didn't do it.
Fatty McFat.
Yeah, maybe if you
Fat
were
fuck.
such a lard, like a tub of lard hiking, like
Get your feminine ass and your feminine wrists and your feminine eyelashes out of here, fatso.
oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm like leaned over on my desk right now. Like,
I am really hoping
the way that we're
he
barely
improves.
exaggerating, though, the way that that's barely an exaggeration.
I
Oh
wish
my God.
I was exaggerating.
Okay.
It's like 400 pages of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that he improves because I saw some potential. So I am hoping.
Damn.
I'm looking forward to the comparison. I am.
Girl, are you blind? Fuck. You saw? No way.
You saw.
I'm blind in one eye only, June, okay? Like, I can see some.
Oh.
Jesus was seen. Where, Rachel? Bring him to me.
50% is still a failing grade. I am but whatever.
No, pass is pass.
I don't know about
Well,
that
speaking
one.
of
Hey,
June, what's
if
your...
it sucks, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be good to
At
talk
least it'll
about
be
at least.
interesting.
Yeah. We can dog on this guy for 2 more hours. June, what was your rating? What do you think?
I gave it a 6.
Okay.
It's because I gave the first part an 8, and I gave the last part like a 3.5.
Damn. Okay.
That's kind of like what I was up to as well, honestly.
Yeah,
think
if
it's
I
a
want to
little-
be real, it
Yeah.
was just bad. So
So you really didn't like that second part.
yeah, it just didn't make sense, and also just like suddenly Scandinavian teenagers, and then like it's just like
It's like
doesn't-
suddenly salad, suddenly Scandinavian.
Suddenly teenagers. Yeah.
Suddenly Scandinavian teenagers.
Thank you for the
I
lyric
just didn't-
pango.
Thank you for the lyric
Oh,
pango.
Scandinavian teenagers in my Swedish haunted
It's
forest.
more likely than you think.
Oh my god, are we writing like an investigation discovery channel? Like,
It'd probably be more interesting than what was going on then.
honestly, might be. He only has one other book that got turned into a movie. I was really curious about that too. So far,
We could
only
do
has
another like double
one.
feature. We could do the movie and the book again. I'd be down for
The
that.
problem is, I do have that book on the wheel. That book is supposed to be kind of hard to read because it's good and it's supposed to be like people consider it his scariest. However, I do believe it is about like a single woman like apartment. Like people keep saying that there's like things that hit too close to home so they couldn't read it.
Really?
So interesting with that. But that got turned into a movie. But that movie gets such a low review on Rotten Tomatoes, and it looks like it's a piece of shit, and it's completely different than the book, apparently. But if we get it, we can watch that piece of shit, and we can talk about it.
Do you trust, like, as a movie buff, do you trust Rotten Tomato reviews generally?
I use them as a guide. I don't trust at all, like, IMDb, not one bit. But Rotten Tomatoes I do use as a guide. However, I typically, the audience scores I don't really pay attention to because I watch a lot of artsy, slow, difficult things, and sometimes people can be dumb.
Yeah, I just say that, yeah, because, like, I'll see a review on something, like, people really seem to love the Ritual movie. They said it was one of the best movies they've seen in forever, and, like, I was just kind of like, how? Like, it was okay.
Yeah, it
I
was
didn't-
It was a completely passable, creepy
It was
little
fine.
movie.
Yeah, it was fine. It
like-
was okay. Like, I
If
didn't.
you like The Conjuring, this is slightly better than like The Conjuring, right? Like, but it's nothing special. I don't know. It's just a movie. It's just fine.
Yeah, I don't know. And people were like, this is great. Don't get me wrong. People were like, oh, I read the book because I loved the movie so much. And like, I don't know. If I'd
Yeah.
seen the movie, I don't know that I would be compelled to then read the book. Like, it was the other. I usually prefer book to movie anyway. And I think in this case, arguably, I would say that I maybe just slightly I did. Even though I said I liked them pretty much the same. I would just slightly prefer the book, I think. Just because I generally do. But, yeah, like if I just watched the movie on my own, I wouldn't be like, I have to read the book. I have to, like Howl's Moving Castle, for example, is a good example of that. I watched the movie and then I knew there was a book, and so I wanted to read the book. But that's Ghibli, it's a whole other thing. My headphones died. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you.
Okay,
yes.
okay. Everybody was quiet for a second. I wanted to make sure I was good. Okay. I have new headphones and they make noises sometimes, so
Oh,
yeah.
are they possessed?
maybe
Like
I
a
have to take
demon?
them to a forest or something. I don't know. Ducky, what was your final rating? I don't know that you ever gave your rating. What was your rating
5.
overall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I think the beginning first half would be like probably a 7 or a 7.5 for me, and then like the second half is like a 3.5. It's not good.
Okay, there's our ratings.
good.
So that is so interesting that most of us, sans Frito, we love you, Frito. It's okay. Most of us
Frito
loved
read it
the-
backwards.
Frito had a misprint. Most of us loved the beginning, rated it actually quite high.
I feel like we read two totally different books, guys. I don't. I think that's what happened.
What was your split? What did you say your split rating was, Frito?
I didn't. I just gave it an
Okay.
overall 4.5.
Okay, well, if you could split it, what would you give like the first half and second half? I'd be curious to know since your opinion was different from ours.
Let's see. So I'd probably say a 1 on the first half.
Wow, damn, girl.
and whatever the rest is on the later.
I'm
It
just trying to
was
figure
bad. I
out.
don't know. That's why I was just like, did we read the same book? Because, like, I don't know.
I think we just look for different things in books, and that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't mean, anyone's opinion is wrong. That's why we hold these discussions, right?
Pretty much, if it's a book that I've suggested, pretty much you hate it, Frito, and I'm really sorry about that. It just seems to happen that way. Every time, like, there's a book from me, you hate it. I'm sorry.
You guys just look for different stuff, and that's okay.
Though you didn't mind Tomorrow X3 very much, but I hate it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
We
book.
just have
I don't remember
perfectly
what I rated it,
opposite-
but
I think you gave it like a 7 or an 8 or something.
probably.
I think we just have completely opposite like things we like in books, but that's interesting. I think I don't know. It's kind
It
of
is interesting.
to
It
talk
makes for
about.
interesting discussion, in my opinion. To me, it's kind of boring if we all just kind of say the same stuff. So I really don't mind the controversy, if you will. I don't want to call it controversy, but like the differing opinions. Like,
I mean,
that's
it's
the whole.
just that you stick to your opinion, not just like when we're like, oh yeah, we found it decent. And you're like, oh, I guess I should change it. No, you stick to. You know what? I really hated the book. And
Yeah, exactly. You like what you like, and you don't like what you don't like. It's fine. Pango says there's
So
not
feel
enough smut in
free-
it, but I don't know. There's plenty of like
There is a lot of nudity.
peen and vagine involved.
Listen,
Being in
I
Vagine.
like
I
other
will give
books
them
that
these
don't have
certain
smut in it.
equal
Okay?
talking about both of the genders' bodies, but
Yeah. Bring that up with Pango, Frito. Pango made these allegations. More allegations being flung around.
All we know for sure
choose the
is that
messenger.
June is a wiener dog. I mean, like, I don't know if we need any
Confirmed.
more information. That's
No, I'm not a wiener.
Bean and Vagine does not. Yes, it was
That's
bad.
true.
It was
That's
not
true.
the smut that I. It was horrible.
You know.
To be fair, I agree with you there. Like, if
Yeah.
I were looking for smut. I would not want this.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I would not want all this
like,
crusty
why-
business.
Why this direction? Like,
Hello, Ray. I'm well. Even though
I mean,
your
I'm
book
sure
was
it's
mediocre.
somebody's but
I mean, maybe like a 12-year-old who like just Googles like boobs or something for the first time on like the family computer.
Didn't he
You
talk
know what?
about
I
her
can see
boobs
that.
too?
Yeah,
Didn't he talk about her boobs being, like,
Fenris said she had
floppy,
great
like,
tits.
oh my
yeah.
God. Well, he said she had great tits, but then like, didn't Luke be like, she's floppy?
Yeah, she's got big floppy fat titties. Yeah. We have
We're
a
fatty,
hydrate
fat,
routine.
fat.
After all this yapping,
God.
we should hydrate. That's true. Cheers,
I'm
everybody.
almost out of hydration
Cheers.
material.
Yeah, I gotta go get some water. I promise I will do it.
So yes, you have the okay from me, Frito, that if a book that I put on the wheel is selected, you can just big sigh, because
Well, I was gonna offer an olive branch suggestion. Okay, do we want to maybe include like 1 or 2 not Adam Nevill books in the wheel, just to like?
No, it's fine. Everybody
Okay.
voted. Y'all
Okay.
voted. Y'all wanna?
I want to appeal to the people. I want to appeal to
Maybe-
everybody.
maybe we'll get
already
lucky. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get one of his short story compilations, because everybody pretty universally agrees that like where he shines.
You know what?
Is in
add
his short stories.
add Morning Glory milking farm in there. Just
No! That's not a thriller.
I mean, I could.
Thrilling for some people. Listen,
I'll add it. Fuck it. Morning Glory.
I'm not one of them, but I can.
Morning
recognize
Glory.
bids for
Milky.
free.
Okay, we have a wild card. Okay. All right. Oh, I didn't mean to spin it. I didn't spin it. Ignore that. Any last words? Any last thoughts before we go and pick our next book? And any wrap-up statements?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. It
Yeehaw.
totally is a thriller. I think it's pretty a thriller. Yeah, in conclusion, I would say that the mashing together of the two concepts is a choice. While we didn't hate the book for the most part, there are places that shine and places that it didn't. I will say this is much better than our other paranormal pick. I'll say that. Like, it was actually paranormal. Yeah. It wasn't just like a mystery tea shop. Like, it was better than that.
That was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Yeah.
that existed.
the only redeeming quality was Grandpa and his duck,
She churns
and
those
maybe
out.
the cat.
I'm
That
sure she
author
freaking does.
churns them out.
Yeah,
like,
she
I
has
was
a lot of
looking at
those
her.
books. Yeah.
Yeah, she puts out like
And it shows.
multiple a year. I'm like, oh, day.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our book pick, shall we? Here's the book wheel. Why isn't it showing the book wheel? The book wheel. Okay. That's actually the genre wheel. We're not ready for that yet. We're picking the book. So, as you can
Yet
see,
genre wheel.
not yet. So we have 7 Adam Nevill picks and Morning Glory Milking Farm. So we will see what the wheel decides. As a reminder, next month's genre is horror, I believe, right? Or no, it's thriller. And
Thriller, yeah.
So that's kind of partially why we thought it might be a good idea to review another one of Adam Neville's books, because that seems to be generally what he writes about. So let's spin. Are we ready? Do we have the bongos ready? Are we ready?
No, I'm in the middle of
bongo,
it.
wait,
bongo.
wait.
Sorry.
Bongos?
Somebody send the bongos.
Bongos? Anybody bongos?
Bongo, 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 bongo.
Bongo.
Come on, hold on. I'm typing.
Book club
Double
is getting
bongo.
feisty. What do you mean getting feisty? What do you mean?
Oh, the wheel went away.
Yeah, I
wheel.
brought it back up. Sorry about that. Are we bongoed?
Cowabongo.
Are we bongoed? Okay. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, June. I love that. Okay, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Morning Glory Milking Farm. Whoa, seepage.
Seepage.
Oh my god.
I don't want to read seepage. Oh no!
Oh my god. All right. Morning Glory Milking Farm, everybody!
No! We could have read Last Days, which is supposed to be really good.
Oh my god!
Let's go!
Okay, all right. There we go. There we go. Yes, June.
Nothing.
I'm trying to make it fair for everybody. Okay. Let's see what we would have
Peyton's
gotten.
joining us.
Good. The more the merrier.
Overridden our, vote, but that's fine.
I wanted to make it fair. Okay. Seriously. Why don't we vote between Morning Glory, Milking Farm, or the Reddening? Okay, how about that? What do people think? What are our thoughts? What are
Let me
opinions?
look up Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Okay.
Milking Farm. God. A short human. Oh, I thought it said a short human. I'm like, yeah, me. Yes, I understand. And then there's like, oh, a short human
Oh, we gotta
and
read.
monster short story. Okay.
I got fucked up. Sorry, we gotta pick the genre now. If we really don't want to read that, we have the Reddening as our legitimate choice. So, not that Morning Glory Milking Farm is an illegitimate choice, but I mean...
There's no way. This is the 3.7? No fucking way. Hold on.
I'm picking the genre. Are we ready? I'm picking next one's genre.
Okay.
Alright. That's what happens when you complain about democracy, okay?
Fucking democracy.
Ooh, travel. That's interesting.
I would have laughed if we got like suspense or horror.
Right, or horror again, yeah, right? Travel, okay.
Interesting.
This last book could have worked for that.
Sort of, yeah.
It certainly felt like it. Like,
Should
you
I?
could travel to a farm.
Yeah. So what are our thoughts? We have Morning Glory Milking Farm, or if we don't feel comfortable with that, we have the Reddening.
What do you mean don't feel comfortable with that? I literally suffered. I have suffered.
All right.
Okay,
Lately.
but when I'm looking at the fucking thing, it
I
includes...
deserve my Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Oh, Sam's all in. Sam's all in.
That
Okay.
includes cock-milking non-human anatomy, size difference, and a lot of fluid. This is literally the description.
What I must question is if this is stream appropriate. However, as well.
I mean,
we can also just if we really want to, we could also just
I just want chat
replace
to
words.
view how you see how they are treating me. I'm just trash
What
guys
do you
to them.
mean? What do you mean?
I
I'm trying
don't
to give it a
I don't say
chance.
anything about any of these other books. I don't give y'all crap about anything. But
Frito, you're having us read a human plus monster smut book. I don't know what else you want.
I don't see the problem. What's the problem?
Is she where?
I'm just sitting
What's
back. I'm just
what's
sitting
the
back.
All right,
What's the issue?
it's gonna be a 4-person fucking book club in 2 seconds.
Oh my god, I already added another one because people were upset that we were reading just Adam Nevill again. So I wanted to make it fair.
Yeah, but the option shouldn't be. I forbid Frito from giving suggestions like that.
Oh my goodness.
It
was,
should
it
not
was
be
in the, it was in the
smut.
wheel before. It was in the wheel before.
Who allowed
What
this?
club is he
Who
in
allowed
now?
this woman
It's
to
fine.
do
We
this
can.
to
What
us?
was the other option? The Reddening.
The Reddening.
We'll read the Reddening. It's okay. It's okay, June. It's
God, I
okay.
don't want to fucking read about cock milking. Okay.
Okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Maybe if I was gonna say maybe if we have time we can read the other one and then discuss it amongst ourselves.
Do we?
I don't know. I just try to make people happy. Maybe don't complain about the poll then in the first place. Thank you.
That's why I said. I just said we voted. We do the thing.
Yeah, but then you're saying like, oh, I voted because I felt like my vote wouldn't matter, so I voted for the thing I didn't want.
That's how math works, Shammy.
Okay.
If there are 3 votes and you vote for the one that only has 1, then you lose regardless.
But how do you know other people aren't gonna vote?
They're not here. Who cares?
Okay,
There's
well, we're
five
going to
of
read the
us.
Reddening next month, everybody, for the author comparison. That's for our thriller genre. I forgot.
Thriller, yes, thriller.
Thriller genre.
And then we got travel. Yay!
Yeah,
That's
travel. We'll travel to a farm from... No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my vote doesn't count. Pango, unless you're in here, yeah, your vote doesn't
That's
count.
kind of fair. Like, if you're going to join... Unless you're going to join, like...
Like, imagine if, like, everybody in Shammy's server decided to vote, but none of them actually fucking were in any of the book clubs. Anyway.
Great talk, everybody.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not reading about cock milking next month. I'm so glad. I'm
I
so
don't
happy.
want to read about cock milking, June 2024.
Yeah, I don't want to read about cock milking. Also, size difference.
Oh,
And
is that a
any and apparently a lot of fluid.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm
Yeah,
kind of
I
tempted to read this on my own. Part of me is like morbidly curious about.
If there was cock milking, I would think that a lot of fluid would be involved, to be fair.
There's milk. There's
cock.
fluid that comes out of that.
Cock, what the fuck?
I can't.
I'm
It's a
too
read.
asexual for this. Can we finish this up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Yeah, June, it's funny because earlier we were talking about this, how you think there's people that would be like, okay, let's wrap it up. Let's go.
Let's wrap it up. Let's go.
Well,
Top.
in all seriousness, thank you
Also,
guys
as
for
an
joining me.
asexual with a slightly dirty mind, I think that is the wrong.
What, wrap it up? Saying wrap it up? Thank you, Sam. Not the snort.
Not the
That was
snort.
excellent.
Thank you guys for joining me. I love you all. I look forward to our book club every month. I will say I wouldn't have picked out this book on my own. That is the one we just read. That is. I wouldn't pick out The Ritual on my own. I'm so glad. I'm glad, Pango. I'm glad you're glad.
I love how you had to point that out just in case people, like, 'cause you would definitely pick out Morning Glory Milking Farm
I don't know how people perceive me. I don't know what people think about me.
Frito cannot pick. Okay, Frito, if
I
it's
see. If
smut,
I'm being silenced. It's okay. It's okay. I understand.
Yes.
I understand, Jude.
listen,
It's okay. I get
it's
it.
against
I get it.
TOS.
It's fine.
We can't talk about the book you want to suggest on freaking stream. What do
Bottom
you
and Mama are
mean?
fighting. It's a sad
I can't be like, I loved when she milked his cock. I can't. That
found
was
this-
my favorite part.
The size difference really speaks to me as somebody in society that like looks up to people.
Okay, I'm sorry. If I can get away with saying penis milk, then I think we can talk about anything.
Yeah, but you're not saying penis milk for 3 fucking hours.
Penis
okay?
milk.
Yeah,
Penis
yeah.
milk.
Have you
Penis
ever
milk.
been into my chat before where I am talking about?
But you're usually fucking gaming in between. At least there's other content.
I said this earlier. I can make this like Gen Z content where I put up like fucking Street Surfer or something while we chat about the milking book.
Do you think Twitch will allow that? I think they will actually.
yeah, because then we were just talking about like sucking dick
Run
and cock.
game. Heck yeah. Get the millions.
So our
I
next.
don't know if it's sucking. Honestly, if it's
I
a
was
size
quoting
difference
Taddy. I was
thing,
quoting
don't
Taddy
think-
Westbrook. I was quoting like a YouTube
Stop
scandal
fighting.
thing. We're just discussing
Stop
the adults are
chatting.
fighting.
Stop trying to silence me.
Pango, stop milking and we'll stop fighting.
Impossible challenge level. Impossible.
Can't.
Pango, stop milking.
Can't.
Our next genre is travel. I can't wait to see what we come up with.
I'm gonna find some travel
I
smut.
can.
Justice for cowboys. But it's not just cowboys, Brie. It's a whole thing. Anyway.
Frito missing her
It's a whole
the
thing.
milk. The milk.
Milk.
No,
it's like
I'm
milk,
not.
but not.
Milk?
Because I said
We
something
haven't
about
filled
penis
it
milk.
Mango milk. Oh
It's
god!
interesting how active my chat is now that we're talking about
talking about cock milk.
Pango milk. That's what
Literally.
it means, Nazu. Thank you. Pango milk. Exactly.
Pango milk.
Exactly.
I don't want to think about pango milk. Oh,
Well,
I'm. Ugh.
I think
So the reddening.
Yeah.
Pangolins are out.
Tomato,
Thank
Nezu.
you.
Yes, it is.
Oh, God.
Whoever told you it wasn't, they lied to you. That's
Tomato,
really what
tomato. I wonder if this next book will be just as British, because this book was very British. The ritual was very British.
It's true. That was British as fuck. Although I have to say, I read the book and I was like, wow, this is a really fucking British book. And then we watched the movie and I was like, oh my god, it's somehow
Yeah.
more British.
Yeah.
I liked
Get
hearing
more
them
British.
actually talk like British bros. I did quite enjoy
Yeah.
that.
Which is just being constantly mean all the time. I'm sorry, British friends, but like you guys are kind of mean all the time.
Stereotyping in my chat. Oh, Nezu. I make pilk. That's great.
Oh,
So if you use Coke instead, is it silk kilk?
no, it's kilk.
Okay.
It is a thing.
Because
that
then
is
you
known.
keel over and kill yourself.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, we've lost our minds at this point. I gotta wrap this up just like Gina requested. Thank you guys for joining me. Seriously, I had a great time as always, and I look forward to our picks. I will leave you guys to it, and we'll see who we rate out to. Thank you guys for coming to chat. Good
Thank
night,
you for
goodbye.
having us.
It's always a blast.
For
Thank
streaming.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye, every friend.
Bye.
What a finale to chat that was. You're all welcome. Don't cry over spilt milk. I thought that said split milk for a second. I won't lie. Sprite milk. Spilt. Oh, I get it. Spilk. I get it. I get you, Nezu. Anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and rate out into Do. He's playing Overwatch with Jinx. And yeah, I'm excited to see what our travel pick will be. I'm already racking my brain about what it can suggest. That's pretty broad if you think about it. Maybe I'll read the redacted book on my own time and tell you guys about it. If you want to hear my thoughts on whatever book we read, you can join my Discord. How do you like that segue? And we'll have details about next month's book as well as the genre. We're open to any picks you guys might have. They don't necessarily have to be the travel genre. But there you go. And let's go ahead and read on into Mr. Do. Unknown entity do. There we go. And I'm just going to make the raid message. Next time you see me will be tomorrow on June's channel. We will be playing MSQ Theater. I can't wait to get back into it. We're in a really spicy part right now. We're near the end of M Walker. So that'll be good. And then the next time I think I'll be streaming on my own channel will be on Monday. And I will start Faith with my special guest star, June. Most likely in the evening, but I'll chat with her about times and stuff. I'm really excited for that, though. I can't wait. We're going into Spooktember now. Since I couldn't fit all the games I wanted to play into August, we'll do Scared September, Spooktember, the names being workshopped. Let me know what you prefer if you have a better idea than that. But there you go. Let's raid on into Do. Let me make sure I have the message come. Oh my god, October. I love that. Oh my god, October. That's a good one. Screamtember. I thought about that too. Okay, the raid hasn't started. Thank you guys so much for joining our chat, cursed or otherwise. And if not tomorrow on June's stream, then I will see you back on Monday with a new game. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.